Hello, and welcome back to the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. My name is Yasmin, and I will be the DM.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I play Elora Greyvale, and she is a sorceress from the province of Nephalia.
Hello, I'm Colin, and I play Cuin de Greymont, a paladin from Thraben in the province of Gavany.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Ogvar Shawfort, a goat-herding, mushroom-seeking ranger from Kessig.
Hi, I'm Rick, and I play Otto, a spring sage from Hanweir, sworn to the land, wandering the plain and setting wrongs to right with his Ursine companion, Bojo.
Standing on an ideal spot from which to spy on Saltstone Bay leaves everyone wondering to whom this man of war, manacled to the harbour floor, might belong to, and its purpose for being present. Answers were needed, and as a host of foreboding avians amassed above the grandeur of the Dark Galleon, it was obvious that this was an ideal opportunity for Otto to take to the wing for a spot of information gathering. On the shattered moon, all was quiet. Quieter, that is, than the small cemetery to the east of town, where an undead uprising of sorts had sprung up in a sinister fashion. Clearly, things were not the normal that one would expect, and as the eagle-eyed druid flew back to the fold, Genric's request for the team to investigate now certainly seemed justified. Episode 130, Raptor Reconnaissance.
The 5 of you, Elora, Cuin, Ogvar, Eric, and Esther, are all stood gathered in the tree line to the south of the village. So I have put a picture on the chat, on the general channel. It's not fully accurate because there's a couple of bits on it, but it should give you a good idea of the positions of the buildings and relative to where I'm describing. So where you see the tree line, that is effectively the south. Okay.
Is that where we are, at the tree line?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So, Ogvar, Elora, Cuin, Eric, and Esther, you are all gathered in the tree line to the south of the village. There's probably 50 foot between you or the edge of the tree line, where the trees thin out into this narrow brush. There's probably about 50 foot between the edge and the nearest building. And that is just simple kind of scrubby grassland. You can see a couple of overgrown what used to be paths, you would say, a couple of overgrown paths, but you can see Ogvar looking, you can see deer trails and other kind of routes where critters have kind of used this as a cut through or made their foray into the forest. As you stand clustered at the tree line, Otto, you have made your return from over the sea. A large fish caught in your talons, and you have made your way back over land, flying directly over the top of the graveyard, in which you can see several shambling figures. You make your way back to the group, your keen vision in your avian form allowing you to easily spot them hidden behind trunks and branches. So, what are you doing?
I think I shall alight on a tree nearby if there's one sufficient size, and enjoy a little snack while I watch them make progress for a little bit, until at least either they notice me or something else prompts me to need to make a change.
Okay, so I'm going to say they probably will notice you pretty quickly, I'd say. The sound of tearing flesh as your sharp beak rips open the fish, and then the kind of the scent of fish gut as it spills out is probably a very good kind of ding dong notification that you're back.
Well, in which case I shall fly down in front of them and drop the fish at the floor, the remains of the fish on the floor in front of them as I change. So stretch out. Hearing
that
pops
stinks.
And cracks in my spine as I do so. That was.
Smell that! That stinks.
Well, it's pretty
I'm a
tasty.
big lover of fish.
Haven't
Well-
really eaten anything except as an animal for some time now, but made a nice change.
Tastes better when it's cooked, though, Otto. To be fair.
Not at all. You should try it. It's fresh.
No, really, I'll give that a miss.
Well, there's something else you might need to give a miss as well. There's some rather nasty flying things around that boat. Had to move pretty quickly to get out of them. You wouldn't be able to get out of the way on a horse, I don't think. They look like some sort of corrupted vulture.
Well, we could see that from a distance, but there seem to be quite a lot of them.
Yeah, slightly more than a dozen, I think.
Anything else that you can report back?
Well, I certainly didn't see anyone moving around in the village at all. Managed to identify a couple of the buildings, a manor house, church, a little bit more detailed than perhaps you were able to see before. I'd say the main issue is whatever that ship is. I'm guessing that's the main cause of the problems.
Well, I detected some movement in the graveyard. It looked like there was something moving. Did you go that direction?
Yes, there is that, of course. Some.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to guess that they are zombies or something similar. They're staggering around in there. Sorry, old age getting to me, I suspect. But yes, they.
Yeah, minor detail.
It's fine. Just don't go there.
That doesn't sound good, does it?
Not the best. Perhaps we just don't go through the graveyard, unless, of course, Kewin fancies bashing a few heads in.
Well, I'm trying to be a bit more thoughtful. We'll see how it goes, but yes. Eric, what are we? What is it exactly you wanted us to do down here?
Oh, sorry, talking to me, were you? Sorry. Yes, well, I believe the Master was hoping you'd be able to resolve the issue. He spent...
Resolve?
Yes.
He said check it out.
Well...
Don't remember him saying resolve.
Potato. Yes.
Eric.
Eric, when you say resolve, what extent do you mean resolving? Do you mean getting rid of the very unpleasant flying things? Getting rid of the undead? Getting rid of the very scary looking ship? Or a combination of it all?
All of it, I suppose.
I'm going to be quite honest, I'm not a big fan of boats.
I'm not a big fan of that one either.
Eric, just a moment there, darling. Can you... You're a lovely chap. Can you just drop the act, okay? We like you for who you are. We're going to work with you, if that's what it takes. But there's no need to put on an act with us because, well, you don't disguise it very well. Just be yourself. And, yeah, just be yourself, but...
I'm not quite sure what you were referring to, Miss Laura. This is myself. Nothing to hide here.
Enough already. That's fine. Let's just move on. Eric, is Genric scrying on us? Can he see this? Can he hear us? Have you got communication with him?
No. He's busy decoding and deciphering the texts. No.
Can you send him a message? Do you have that ability?
Let me just check. He pulls out a thick tome. It's a very ornate, very fancy-looking tome. It's got a rich purple leather cover, embellished with all kinds of gems. Which, everyone, make me a spot check, please.
Okay.
And in fact, Kieran, you can have a +2 bonus for your background as being nobility.
Well, thank you for that. But natural 20 with 8.
Yikes. Okay.
Nice.
So, natural 20 from Kieran in the corner. Ogvar?
I rolled a 10 plus an 11, which is 21, please.
Nice, okay. Otto?
Roll a 2, so I have 20.
That's pretty decent. Okay, Elora. Don't let it down.
And 24 from Elora.
Whoa!
Well in.
Wow, okay.
20 plus 7. Sorry, a 17 plus 7.
That's a great opening round, everyone. Okay, yeah, so you can all...
Yeah, so all downhill.
It couldn't get worse.
So you can all tell...
Hopefully we ain't got to do any stealth.
So you can all tell, just looking at these gems, and I'm heavily accentuating the air quotations here, on the cover of this book, they are very obviously to all of you fake. I mean, you look at them and you go, no, just no. They are as fake as they come. They look very ostentatious, and you'd imagine someone who doesn't know much about gems, perhaps someone who is not as affluent or hasn't handled gems or dealt with gems in the way you have, having sold gems and seen these gems yourself, it might be passable. However, to all of you, it is laughably obvious that these are fake. They are some kind of cut glass, minor gemstone. There is no real value to them. It is encrusted. It is bedazzled. It looks more like a chandelier than a book, honestly. It is dripping, and you can see there's this obviously long purple silk ribbon, which tails out of the book and is cut in this beautiful little kind of forked V, like a snake's tongue. And it's supposed to scream opulence. To your eyes, it screams chintz. He opens this book, and there are pages filled with writings, pages upon pages. And Laura, knowing, make me a knowledge arcana, please.
I've got to find it. Oh, there we go. Right. All right. Oh, well, that's a nat 1 plus 9. So that's a whole 10. But it was a nat 1, sorry.
Okay.
Obviously, I was not impressed with it.
So, Laura, you are perhaps either blinded by the chintz as a stray ray of sunlight hits the largest gem in the centre, refracting into your eyes. Either that,
eyes!
Either that, or the sheer amount of chicken scratch littering these pages is enough to befuddle your mind and make you go cross-eyed. The pages are littered with writings of all sorts. You can all very well assume that this is a spell book of some sort. He licks his thumb and begins flipping through the pages. Ha 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 ha, no, ha 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 ha, no, no, sorry, Miss Adora, no, I don't have anything. Sorry. Ha 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 ha.
Well, that's just fabulous. Moving on. Well, it looks like we've got no way to contact Genric from here, guys. The only thing I can say is, if you all think that we've got to do something about this lot, I'm not enamoured, and B, we need a really good plan. So my next suggestion would be for everybody to look at what they've got in their backpacks. What have we got? Have a look at what you've got that's of any use. Do we really want to go and do this? Do we have to go and do this?
I suppose if we want information, sort of have to.
You know what worries me about this? We're, 2.5, 3.5 days from Stagwick? If this is where... If Kewin's right, and this is the cultist crew, that's bad news, because there's not many settlements between here and Selhoff, and Stagwick is one of them. That's not that far. If they're getting a foothold here, that's not a good thing. That worries me.
Not at all. I dare say Stagwick has as much chance against a raid or anything other than not particularly fortified.
Well, they don't have any magic users. They don't really have any weapons or any, as you say, no fortifications or anything. It's a quiet, sleepy town.
So we're doing something about this then?
I don't think we've got a choice, have we?
Well, I don't think we should not do anything either, because obviously, as you said, it's Stagwick being close, but B, this looks like evil, and we shouldn't turn around from this. I think we need to see if we can find out where the major source of evil is coming from. Otherwise, we'll have to take everything out bit by bit.
I was going to sigh and go, I bet it's on the boat.
Well, dearie.
Well, of course we can't.
It is a.
Go on, Esther. What?
It is a big bloody boat, isn't it? Otto, was there anything else you saw while you were on the wing?
I was rather focused on those blasted birds trying to catch up with me. This is where I regrettably point out that my notes from last session are in a different book to the one I brought with me today.
Is there
So no.
was there
is
any
there something
other?
that I perhaps should have remembered?
Wait, was there any other movement, or was it just in the graveyard area? Was there anything else, or?
The only things I recall were the birds in the air and those zombie-like shamblers maybe around in the courtyards. I think that if we are looking at approaching things piecemeal, as much as I'd rather avoid the graveyard, that might be a good place to start to eliminate anything that we find there. We don't want to go in closer to those birds than we absolutely have to. Maybe we can attract some of them piecemeal.
Do you think, can you remember if there was any buildings that looked intact enough to provide cover from above? If things got a bit overwhelming with all the birds, we could get inside maybe. Hopefully there's no nasties inside.
Yes, well, there are certainly a few buildings we could use for that. The Shattered Moon itself, I think, is probably the source of the issues, but sorry, that's the name of the ship, if that makes any difference to you. Don't know if it's one you might know. But yes, we could potentially get inside some of those buildings, but of course there's no guarantee they're any safer than the air around the ship.
That's quite true, I
contain their own
suppose,
threats.
So,
is that something anyone knows of, by the way, the name of this boat? Does it mean anything to anyone?
I can...
Not not familiar. I've not seen it before. I've certainly not seen it when I've been travelling down the coast. I mean, it's not something that I've ever laid eyes on. Never seen it.
Good.
I don't know.
Can I ask a question out of character?
Yep, go for it.
More just to just refresh myself on the lore. Because isn't the Hell Vault a chunk of silver that came off the moon?
Essentially, yes. It's a. As far as you're aware, coming from the woods, it's a big, large rock up in Gavany, where things are imprisoned and kept sealed. And yes, it is rumoured to be made of silver. Kieran and Elora, you would have probably been lucky enough to see it yourself, and indeed, it is a large. Not an obelisk. It isn't that kind of structured, man-made shape, but it is a large, kind of almost warped, conical piece of rock. And I will have no jokes.
So. So the shattered moon could be.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
I wasn't in character then. Sorry. I was just making sure I had my facts right.
Right.
I'll go into character now. I don't know. I suppose the Hell Vault itself is rumoured to be a chunk of silver off the moon. So the shattered moon might be some relevance to either the Skurstag or Avison herself. It's hard to tell, but there's certainly a coincidence.
Yes, I've seen it. It's conical shaped.
You've seen the
yes,
Hell Vault?
Yes, I've glimpsed it
Yeah, from a distance.
from
Yeah.
a distance.
Same here.
But
Wow.
yes, only the highest levels really got close, and I was guarding it, one of the two new guards at some point, but before they sent me out. But yes, I see what you mean. It could mean either.
Which might
But,
be just a coincidence, yes.
I haven't ever seen any of the church ships in those colours. They're more they'd have white sails, etc. This is probably, to want of a better word, probably more Skurstag. In my own feeling, especially with the vultures, those aren't natural.
Yes, I suppose.
Did you get a look at those? How big are they? They look quite large from up on the plateau.
Big buggers. And, there's about a dozen of them closer to me, but it might be 2 or 3 times that in total. Big red eyes. Kind of look like I say giant vultures as much as anything, but about a 20-foot wingspan, something like that. You wouldn't want one coming after you. Trust me,
Those
I
are
didn't.
big. No. Okay, so I think we better take stock of what we've got. If we've got to do this, we can't just go marching in. I think we better just check. Everybody just have a look at what they've got, maybe in their backpacks, things that we can use. I think we're gonna have to get a bit clever with this, I think. But my feeling is maybe we move through from one area. I don't think we should split up. I think we should deal with each of the problems as effectively as. I mean, we don't know what other problems are down there. I don't know. What do you think, boys?
Well, do you want to systematically go through, or are we going to try and cut the head off the snake, as it were, on the boat? If something's making the dead rise, if we remove the source, do the dead go back to being dead?
I don't know, but you don't really want to. If you're talking about stealthing it in, you got to remember, if you go past. Do we need to go past the graveyard?
Well, we could probably circle it somehow.
Well, if you get past that and you move further into the little town, you don't know what's in the buildings. You don't know whether something's going to come from behind you. It's just putting that out there.
So I will
But
say
there are.
I will say here that from the view you had, the aerial view, the overview that Otto's had, the description that he's given you, the view you had yourself from up on this plateau further up the hill, you can see that yes, from where you are, you would be able to access the graveyard. It is on the eastern side of the town, eastern side of the map, and you would be able to, get around there through the tree line, in the open. You would be able to get around there. The second point that I will make is that it's not shown on the map on the chat, because that is a non-accurate representation. However, it is the closest to how the layout of the village is that a vast majority of these buildings have suffered major destruction. So I would classify these into kind of 4 classifications. You have buildings which are majorly destroyed. They are flattened, they are rubble, they would provide very little in the way of cover or ability to hide inside them, because you would pose extreme danger of having it collapse onto you, right? They are really, really badly damaged, unusable. You have buildings which have sustained fire damage. They are otherwise still standing, however their insides and the roofs have been gutted by flames. They are charred, they are blackened. Some of them which did have wooden structures, the wood has burnt away, corroded, turned into charcoal and crumbled. However, they would still provide fairly decent cover should you need it. The third type have suffered a partial collapse. They look unburnt, they look pretty well intact, apart from the fact that one side has collapsed, the roof has collapsed. There is some structural damage. The fourth type are buildings which are mostly intact. They have surface damage, you can see damage, scorch marks, but they look majorly structurally sound. The vast majority of the buildings in this village fall into the first 3 categories.
So places like the manor and the church that I've seen before, they're the more intact ones.
Yeah, so it tends to be the bigger the buildings are, or the bigger the buildings seem to be, then the less damage they've endured. Some of the smaller buildings, they are completely flattened. You can just see planks of wood and bits of stone where they once stood. It seems to be the trend that, Otto, you would have been able to see in particular. Things like the church, the manor house, what would appear to be kind of the 3 bigger buildings at the very edge of the waterline, they seem to be mostly intact. In fact, I can tell you that the manor house has suffered a partial collapse on a wing. However, it is still, the main house is still fully intact.
Sure.
Well, I don't know whether it depends on how confident we are of being able to sneak onto the ship without being seen, because there's quite a bit of damage, and I don't really want to be caught fighting those vulture type thingies when a load of zombies appear at me back.
Well, no,
if you know
that's
what I mean.
Yeah. Well, that was my point. We might have to clear out on our path as we go, and hope that nothing reappears from behind us. But as soon as you start making a ruckus, that's going to make noise. If you do this during the day, you've got those bloody vulture things. I mean, I don't even know whether they sleep. He said they've got red eyes and stuff, so they could be magical, they could be cursed creatures. I don't know. They could be undead creatures. I don't know. I don't know what they are, but they're big. And so you've got a bunch of 20, 40 flying things. So we need to think about how we're going to avoid those, or how we're going to deal with them if you've only got to disturb one and the others will follow. Anyway, what are we doing?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. It's we're going in there and sorting it out, but I don't know how we're doing it. It's the general gist of where we've gotten to.
Yeah, it depends. We were discussing whether to try and sneak on the ship or hit each objective one at a time, and hope they don't interlace, shall I say.
Yes. I fear that once we've taken the first step, there will be little respite on the way through, and it may get a little chaotic.
Look, if it's any help to anybody, I've got some potions and things. I've got several potions that will help with undead issues. I've got other things that might come in useful. I've got alchemist fire. I've got a wand, a couple of wands, wand of whole person, and I've got a summon monster scroll.
Well, that might come in handy if we get a bit trapped.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, let's say about 10, out of character to discuss exactly how you want to go about this. I'm not going to interject. If you want any questions or want to ask any questions, I'm here if you want to ask questions. But I'm going to give you, say, near enough
that'll
8:30.
Get our thoughts together and we'll be able to streamline it a bit. Okay, cool. So, without getting all planning about it, so is there just one way in and one way out, or can we sort of like skirt round? Because we're looking at the graveyard in front of us. Is that right?
So the map that I've posted on the chat, very simply, you are in the tree line at the back.
Yeah, behind the church type thing, top,
Yeah.
middle of the page,
Yeah.
or at the crossroads.
You're probably closer to the crossroads because you've come down this downhill track which is overgrown and weeded over. So you're probably right by that crossroads where it goes 4 directions. You'll be somewhere in the tree line there. From there you can go anywhere into the village you like. You could follow the track down, you could go in between houses, you could go behind the church, you could walk all the way over towards the graveyard on the far, as you look at it, the far left hand side. You could go about this any which way you want.
So basically, essentially, we've got an open plan situation. There's no lead. No, you should go this way. No, you must go north, south, east, west. You can literally choose anything you can imagine.
Yep. You can go about this how you want.
So we don't need to go by the graveyard.
No, you don't have
And
to.
if you don't need to go by the graveyard, we could always sort the graveyard out once we finished with, I would say, the main objective, which would be the ship.
If
So
you want.
I thought that we had to go through the graveyard or very close, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
No, you could go all the way round to the other side of the village and come round that way. You don't have to do anything. This is entirely up to you as how you want to go about it.
Okay, and has Otto seen an undead only in the graveyard, or are they roaming the streets?
So Otto, the undead you saw were only in the graveyard.
Yeah. Can you just refresh my
cool.
memory on the time of day at the moment, please?
So it is around, you arrive around midday, so you're probably creeping on towards 1 o'clock now.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay.
And the vultures, or whatever they are, in the air, because Rick said maybe a dozen, Sam said 40. Which one was it?
I believe it's
20 to 40. 20 to 40.
I believe,
Yeah.
memory, 20 to 40.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
That's it. There were a dozen or so near the ship, and there was
Yep.
more sort of.
Right, that's what I'm getting confused. Okay, cool. Cool. Right, yeah.
So, if we're deciding we want to bypass the graveyard, then obviously we need to establish a way through to get to the harbour without alerting too much. So the question is then, do we just go for speed, head through the streets directly there and plan a very frontal assault? Do we attempt to use the buildings to, perhaps especially something like the church tower, to get a bit of an overview on the situation and see if, for example, the birds go away at a certain time of day? Or do we hang back where we are, where perhaps it might be a little bit safer again, although a bit further out to get details, to try and watch for a little bit more from here before advancing. Those kind of 3 basic ideas I can see.
Well, if it's only 1 o'clock, we've got what, 5-6 hours before it starts getting dark.
Yeah, so
It
probably.
gets dark between 6 and
Yeah.
7 o'clockish, isn't it? Because we're going more summerish now, aren't we? I think you said before.
Yes, I believe so.
But well, spring. But well, queuing would be wanting to, because the church. You if you go by the church, you go by the graveyard. As far as I'm concerned, so
No, you don't. So, if you look at the map, you've got the church right at the top near the tree line. This area,
Yeah.
so on the map it shows the coastline going round and stretching round. That isn't coastline. That's just because I can't get an exact copy. What that is on the right hand side. That is graveyard and scrubland.
right. So it is
Okay.
some distance away.
So the graveyard's on the very left of the picture.
Yes. So what you've got to remember
Okay,
as
cool,
well.
yeah.
I don't know if I can show that to you without
Oh, hold on, let's get the picture.
too
I
much.
do remember
Hold
that
on,
the
let's-
church is very much adjacent to one of the largest buildings as well, one of the ones with the collapsed
Yeah.
wing.
So you've
So-
got, that's your church there. This building
Yeah.
here is one of the largest buildings, and this has got a partial collapse here. The graveyard is this area over here. All up
Okay,
here.
Okay.
So there is no defined end of the graveyard. What you have to remember, based off the lore and the history that Jemrick gave you, is that the town came under the effects of an illness, a plague of some sort. People were dying left and right. It got to a point where you couldn't get individual burials in. It would have been mass burials at one point. So what you've got to remember is that this area of land, it would have started off with, fairly ordered graves, but pretty soon it's going to turn into big, large mass graves, and it's going to be very disorganised. So this graveyard, almost from the air, Otto, you'd have been able to see that this is fairly organised, close, tight to the town, and then as it spreads away to the east, it becomes more disorganised.
Okay, so we could go and have a scout up in the either the church or the big building, just to see what we can see, or alternatively we could just head towards the ship. Those are the options. I don't fancy spending a night out in here with just to scout around.
Okay, yeah, sounds fair enough.
I
What are your thoughts, Rick, mate?
actually agree with that. I personally think the best thing we can do is use the church itself as almost a base. We spend a bit of time watching over the ship from there, see if we get any other information, see if there's anything else that comes out during the night. And I don't know about Elora, but certainly Otto can request other spells. And ships, for example, tend to burn. A lot of Otto spells are designed more for exploration or for very sort of general use, but I can get a lot more specific if I have a chance to rest, and if we know that we are looking to burn this thing to the ground, I can do that.
But we don't know what's on it.
True, but you want it to go away, right?
We don't know, because we don't know what's on it. We don't know, like Ogvar stated, we don't 100% know whether it is Skursdag
Yeah.
or something's happened to it that's turned it black, and it was actually a proper ship, and a church ship.
Yeah.
We don't know, so which is why we've either got to get on it
Yep.
and look, or we've got to get on and look, because
Oh,
I mean-
I do appreciate that. I'm just making sure that I could sort of see a more correct or a more proper loadout in case we need to.
but I mean, if we want to burn it down, then we might want to, but at this precise moment in time we don't know enough about it
That's why
to
I agree with you in terms of staying in the church and watching for a little bit longer. I think the church is the better place. We've got a decent overview because of the tower, and it seems to be fairly intact, so hopefully we can escape notice there.
Anna Laura?
I have quite a lot at my disposal. It depends on what you want.
Big bada boom.
But can you see what I mean about we don't want to destroy the ship because we don't know.
I like
about the
ships. I can sail ships.
Ship. Yeah, but we don't know enough about it.
I don't like boats.
Yeah, we don't know enough about it to blow it up. As for anything else, we've got to either observe it or just get on it.
Right.
Okay, so at the moment, you want to go have a looky up from the church.
Have a look up the church or just.
What do you think about that, Sam?
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I've got invisibility. I've got all the items. I've got
Okay.
I've got a silent portal, so I can sneak in and out of places, open windows and doors and shit.
We can go to the church then. Is
I think that's
step one, let's say.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
And
Okay, that's cool.
all sorts of. I've also got dimension door,
Yeah, well,
so I
like
can
that,
move from one place to another quite easily.
yeah, obviously we wouldn't. Some of them we wouldn't know, but what we can do.
Well,
like
you've
I said,
seen
it
me.
depends.
You've seen me do some of them, and the thing
Yeah.
is, some of these I can take people with me as well, and make other people invisible. No, I can't. Not with that one.
Okay, so
But I
Can-
can also protect people from undead.
So we have the start of a plan at
If it
least.
works.
yeah, so we got step one, haven't we? Get to church.
And then step 2 is basically have a look and see what we think.
Okay, so to sum that up, you've had about 10 minutes to basically go over it. You want to go to the church, get a good position, do a bit of scouting, and then assess where to go from that point onwards, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, before you continue, just checking, does Kewin have any particular need or focus on destroying undead? Because if so, I don't know if he feels a need to particularly make sure we go back and take care of it.
Although he can turn undead, both as a cleric and as a paladin, he wouldn't be majorly brilliant at it because he's not a cleric. Like Spencer's character was pretty good at it because he was a high level cleric, whereas a paladin it's greatly reduced.
I meant just to his motivations.
Motivations, not particularly. He's trying to be good, if you remember.
Yeah.
His normal reaction, if you'd have said prior to being eaten, would have been he'd have gone to the graveyard
Gotcha.
and started hacking and slashing. But since the graveyard, he's trying to behave. How long it lasts, I don't know. But
That's all right. I was just
Yeah.
making sure that he wasn't under any particular need from in terms of his god to go killing the undead as a priority. We didn't want to lose him at a key moment.
no, we never discussed that, did we? Yes.
No, there's no
No.
there's no compulsions to do that. I mean, I guess probably you'd be encouraged to do that. It would be a thing to go and do that because they're evil at the end of the day. But you don't have to do. You don't have a compulsion to do it off the bat.
Right.
Fantastic.
So I mean, and like I said earlier, Kewin would want to get the objective done, which is the main objective to me or to him would be the ship, but he wouldn't want to leave the undead alive. Well, not alive because they're undead, but walking around.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but like, was it Ogvar or Alora stated, just finding out the major source of the evil around, i.e. the red-eyed, massive eagle type things,
Yes.
evil things, could be, if we destroy whatever's there, they'll die anyway.
Let's hope so. Good plan.
Okay. So you've had your planning time. You all happy with the plan? You're going to head over to the church.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you make your way over to the church. Are you approaching this any particular manner? Are you going straight across? Are you just kind of how are you doing this? Sneaking?
Well,
sprinting, rolling, cartwheeling?
Semi. We would make it semi-stealthily.
But I think
Ogvar
that
would be trying to go as quietly as possible.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what Eric's capabilities are.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I should be saying this in character. No, I shouldn't. I'm confused now. It's been one of them nights.
Okay, so if you're all going to try and go stealthily, because I'm assuming that you're going to try and go stealthily as well, Otto.
Yeah, I think if everyone's looking to do that, I think I'll choose a faster form, like that of perhaps a wolf or something similar, just to make things move a little bit faster, so in case things go wrong.
Okay, so does everybody want to roll me? And what this roll will be for, I'm not just going to count this as a roll for crossing the open plain. I'm just going to say for the next couple of hours this will be your level of stealth. So I'll say until something happens that provokes you to need to make another roll, if it does happen, or until nightfall, this will be the level of stealth that you will maintain. So everybody roll me a move silently check. Yeah, stealthy, move silently. This will be the level you maintain.
Mine's negated because of my armour.
Oh! Okay.
That's a 12 plus a 5, which is a 17 all in for Alora.
Okay, 1 second. Elora was 17.
Correct?
Yep. Who's next?
Ogvar rolled a 14 with a plus 10, making 24.
Ooh, look at you go. Okay.
Queuing rolled an 11, but with a plus 2 to move silently, that's a 13, but a minus 2 for armour check, take it back down to an 11.
Almost worth it. Otto.
So, Otto in the form of a dire wolf rolled a nat 20
Oh my
and
god.
gets plus 4, so 24.
Okay, let me just make a note. Otto, 24, and I'll put a little star by it for a natural. Okay, I can tell you that Eric rolled a 10 plus 1 for 11. So he's on the same level of stealth as Queuin. And let me just find Esther's sheet to make a roll for Esther. And let's see.
In my head, I've got a vision. Kieran's clanking along with his armour, and Eric's behind him, nervously laughing.
I was actually about to say that is exactly what is happening.
Oh dear.
Okay, so Esther rolls a 17, and that's plus 0, so she's 17.
Well done,
Go the
Esther.
ladies.
Okay, so let's summarise that. Okay, so in order, the stealthiest we have Otto as a sleek wolf. What colour is your fur? And also, actually, while I think about it, are you bringing Bojo with you?
So that is another question. Yes, I'd bring Bojo, absolutely. He'll be having to bring up the rear. I shall roll for him separately.
Yep, so if you could roll Bojo for me.
Here we go. Watch. I rolled a 20 for me. It'll be a 1 for Bojo, I'm sure. Hang on, let's find out. Oh, no. That's a 19 on the roll.
Oh, nice.
Well done, him.
Any modifiers?
So let me get this.
No modifiers on that one I can see on there, so it's just his dex bonus, which is, I think, plus 1, so he gets a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, nice. So, let's run in order from the stealthiest to the least stealthiest. So, the stealthiest we have Otto. In the form of a large wolf, a dire wolf, you make your way across, you dart across this open plain. Your fur is smooth and sleek, just like your running pace, as you slip away unnoticed. Ogvar with a 24, a man of the woods, you know exactly where to place your feet to avoid making sound, avoid leaving tracks or traces. You are able to pass just as well as Otto, if a little less quickly about it. Bojo with a 20 is very, very stealthy for a large bear, incredibly stealthy. Otto, you've spoken to him. Bojo's well aware that he needs to stay as quiet as possible, and he's doing a very good job at being so. Next up we have Esther and Alora with 17s. The both of you, clad in lighter armour, being slighter of frame, are again very stealthy. You're able to maintain that high level of stealth, slipping away around corners, being very, very careful about your surroundings. And then bringing up the rear, we have Kewin, Eric, and I feel like I've missed someone else out here. I haven't. We have Kewin and Eric. So, Kewin and Eric with 11s, they are bringing up the rear. Kewin clanking ever so slightly every now and then, which leaves you going kind of like a shh motion. And followed by Eric, who every so often lets out a rather nervous ha 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 bark of laughter. So this level of stealth you are able to maintain until nightfall, or another event provokes you to re-roll. And you are all above the average level for a human, so you are all stealthier than a normal human, which is good in this situation. So, you make your way across to the church. You are able to find a rear door. It's loose on the hinges, it hangs crookedly. However, you are able to open it with very little noise and enter into the building. The building is cold, dank and dark. Shafts of pale grey light filter through the odd, perhaps missing brick, patchy hole in the roof, gap in tangled vines which have grown over the windows, giving you just enough illumination to see the general area around you. I'm assuming you're going to spend some time scouting the church itself.
Yeah, have a good sniff. I'll ask Bojo to do the same.
Okay,
He's a good lad.
so you can all make me a, let's say, what have we got? You can all make me a search check. You're going to be searching for anything out of place, anything which shouldn't be, anything which is particularly interesting, so make me a search check, please.
That's a whole 6 plus 0 for Alora, so just a flat 6.
Flat 6, okay.
Kewin has a 19 plus 0, so that's 19.
19, okay.
Ryan, Ogvar, has an 8 plus a 7, which is 15.
15, nice. Okay, Otto. And Bojo.
Otto has a 7 plus a 3, so just 10. And Bojo has rolled a 14, minus 3 for 11.
Okay. So you spend some time scouting out this building. It is a large building. It doesn't have any offshoots. There are no kind of long passageways sticking out the side. It is very much a this kind of singular kind of long building with a tower on the front end. So you don't have any side corridors. There are no towers. There's nothing else to explore other than the kind of general generic building. You are, all of you, unable to detect anything out of place. You can see motes of dust swirling in the air. It's quite thick with dust. Obviously, from where no one has been in this church for years and years. You can see places where nature has started to re-invade the church. You do see small animals, mice and the sort, rodent type creatures, scutting around, leaving kind of trails in the dust. And every so often you can actually see, cutting through maybe across the main body of this hall, a clean path where obviously mice and rodents use this as a bit of a run through, and it's cleared a trail through the grime. Everything is covered with this layer of dust. You can write your name in it. But other than that, you have the building itself appears to be fairly watertight. There aren't any large holes in the roof. There aren't any major structural damages. You can see that the glass has fallen out the windows at some point. So the windows are open and the wind does whistle through the building in kind of these short gasping sighs. The pews have been pushed to the sides, perhaps, but there's no evidence of drag marks. These are where they were left. Soft furnishings, things like pew cushions or tablecloths, altar cloths, anything which is soft appears to be moth-bitten and faded, paled out by the elements. Other than that, you take a good scout around. Up the tower, you can see patches where the staircase has fallen into disrepair. Woodworm has gotten to the wood, leaving minute holes and perhaps weakening the structure ever so slightly. But there is nothing out of order. There is nothing to suggest that anything has disturbed this building with the exception of nature itself for a good many years. And Kewin, you can make me a wisdom check, please.
Just a straight wisdom.
Just a straight wisdom.
That's 11 plus 1, 12.
Okay. With a 12, you have this feeling, having been raised in church grounds, having been raised around the church, you know that areas where prayer is conducted, areas where Avicen's presence is particularly strong, like her churches, like her cathedrals, you can feel her presence. Although muted now more than it has ever been, you can feel her presence. In this building, you feel very little of Avicen's grace. No one, it's like she has faded away from this place. Okay. So I take it after investigating around, having a scout out, discovering nothing of any real interest, unless there is something which interests you, which you want to pull up.
I want to check out two things in particular.
Okay.
Just padding around rather than asking anyone else. I'd want to make sure that the stairs going up to the church tower are intact.
Yes.
I'd want to see if there's any sign of a basement or crypt.
Okay.
I'd also want to see if there's a direct passage through to the adjacent building as well.
Okay, so you take a look around. These steps up to the tower, you would say, would not support Bojo's weight. They would, however, support everyone else's, as long as you went one by one just for safety. Looking around, you cannot see any other doors with the exception of a couple of the back door which you entered in, the front door of the church, and some internal doors which, when you open, lead to other rooms in similar states of abandonment. There are no other external doors leading out to anywhere, and you can also find no evidence of a basement or crypt.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else wanted to pick up on anything in particular?
No. I don't think so, but I think while Alora has this small amount of, well, it's not exactly downtime, but while she's just milling around waiting for everyone to conduct their searches, I think she would very quietly cast mage armour on herself.
Okay.
For the next 8 hours.
Nice, cool.
Which gives her a +6 to her AC.
Excellent. Otto, Ogvar and Kewin, is there anything in particular you're looking at?
On the ground floor?
Just in general around the church, anything in particular?
No, the only thing Ogvar would really be interested in would be going and looking at the ship, seeing what's going on, but we'll deal with that when it comes to it.
Okay, Kewin?
No, Kewin might mention to the others about not feeling anything to do with Avicen here, but and he probably would do a cone of detect evil as he turns around.
Yep, as you...
Would I need to roll?
No, I'm not going to make you roll for this one, because as you cast this, as you turn around, you cannot detect any evil. There is simply no evil. You don't get any feedback from this place about any evil presences, no traces, no auras, nothing.
I can't detect any evil here, but I will say this. I feel absolutely no connection whatsoever to Avicin here.
Well, we are in the very southernmost point, kind of almost the opposite end of the land from Thraben.
Yes, but it's a church. It is consecrated ground. There should be... I'm not saying, wow, but there should be a trace. There is nothing whatsoever.
Do you think that's because her influence has faded at this point?
I wouldn't like to say, but if it is, it's, we need to get a move on.
I'm not so sure, dearie. It could simply be, as per Mr. Generic, this place has been abandoned for a long time, and very often without worship, without prayer to anchor a being's presence, it can fade away.
Yeah, well, there's no parishioners here, is there? There's nobody. No.
I see what you mean. Yes, could be.
I don't know much about these things. I'm learning, but I don't know much about these things.
Well, I would obviously bow to Esther's knowledge more than my own.
Maybe. Well, let's just hope that it is that.
Okay, and actually, everyone can make me a spot check while you're stood in the hall.
Would you like a check from Bojo as well?
No, not from Bojo this time. In fact, actually, sorry, Rick, what's Bojo's intelligence like? Is he very intelligent?
No, he's got he's got intelligence of 3 at the moment.
Okay, so no, not from Bojo this time, thank you.
I am rolling so shit tonight. That's crap. That's a 6 plus 7 from Alora, so that is a 13 all in.
13?
Kieran got 11 plus 6, 17.
17, nice.
And Otto has got a 10 on the dice, so 28.
Nice. Okay, and Okvar.
I've rolled a 9 plus 11, which will be 20.
Okay, so all of you, as you turn around perhaps to make your way towards the tower, your eyes fall upon the far end of the church. It's the same end that you entered. You'd have entered a back door which led up a corridor, but at the very end of this church, right in the middle where the congregation would face, you can see a altar. Again, moth-bitten cloth draped over it, stained grey with dust. Upon the top of the altar lays a wreath of flowers, long since decayed and crumbled. The stems remain dark and blackened, and the flower petals themselves have withered away, and they've turned this dark, deep orange, dried out like dead flowers do. And the petals have crumbled into a halo of dark flakes which rest upon the altar. Set in the middle is a stone carving. The symbol of Avicin, the collar, this U-shaped, almost like a horseshoe, supported by a neck atop a plinth. Directly down the centre, you can all see a large crack.
Are there signs that this is been caused by some damage deliberately, or does this look more natural?
No, looking at it, this appears natural. And all of you get this very melancholic feeling that the lack of Avacyn's presence, the dead flowers, which haven't crumbled to dust even after all of these years. They are merely almost in a petrified state, a decayed but petrified state, and this singular crack running down Avacyn's symbol. It's a very, very melancholic, desolate feeling.
That's not an encouraging sight, is it?
Well, I don't know much about these things. I've learned more along my journey, but no, it's not uplifting, is it?
No, not at all.
But then it is abandoned, so I guess it's just a building now, isn't it?
Well, let's hope we can rid this area of whatever is in it and maybe bestow some of Avacyn's light back to it.
Well, I think that's the mainstay of our mission, isn't it? Basically.
Well, yes. But maybe we need to get a move on. Rather than, we can't dilly-dally.
No, time is running short. We've been travelling for quite some weeks. We've done some other things. Well, a couple of months now. We've done some things that have been good, but we're still no closer to... Well, we're a little bit closer, but we've still got a long way to go.
Yes. Well, I'm starting more and more to feel that we should make our way, possibly, to the ship.
As Otto returned to his companions, their feathered friend came back, bearing a fishy brunch. Due diligence done, he also revealed a rather unfavourable report on the current state of affairs in town. Conversations ensued, and it did not take much in the way of deliberations to decide that the suspect ship was probably the property of the Skursdag scum. This was when they discovered that their day had indeed just taken a very dark and difficult downhill dive. With the considerable numbers of huge winged creatures coasting on the thermals above, the town's previous residents now reanimated and seemingly holding a rave in their former resting place, it was time to take stock, make some meaningful decisions, and embark on some precision planning. Sidelining their steeds, the party proceeded into Saltstone, seeking refuge in the church, which was to become our hero's next holy hideout. After a cursory search, little was revealed other than a fractured stone shrine to the Archangel Avacyn. Hey, you made it this far, so lend us your ears for a moment longer if you will. Firstly, we are most humbled that you are enjoying our yarn, and the crew thank you from the bottom of their hearts for your patronage. Producing this podcast is incredibly hard work, and as such, if you would like to support us, there are a few ways in which you could really make a difference. Sharing links to friends and family helps to spread the word so others like you can find us, and in turn they too can enjoy the show. Equally helpful is leaving a 5-star review on Spotify and any other streaming services, which will help us immensely. Or, if you feel you could go that extra mile and contribute a few coppers to keep our creative juices flowing, you can hop on over to our Buy Me a Coffee page or drop us an email. We would all be immensely grateful for your support in any form. Lastly, we invite you to visit our website, where you will find information on our campaign from backstories to settings. Join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter. All the links are in our episode bios. Don't forget to smash the subscribe and download buttons so you never miss the next episode. See you all again next week, folks.